We had heard about this museum in Tulsa, and we knew we wanted to do a girls' trip. And I just threw out an email to all the ladies in bootstraps. So we ended up with 6 women, and we took a girls' trip.
And I'll confess that when I got invited, I thought to myself, love to take a trip with these women. What a good way to get to know them better. But Tulsa, Oklahoma? And what is this Black Wall Street thing? I didn't really get that it would have anything to do with me at all until I got there, learned the story. And I should have known about this, and my heart should have been broken as it was on this trip, but I didn't come to it with that spirit.
But you sure ended it with
I
that
did.
spirit.
Amen, I did, yes.
It was uplifting, it was convicting, it was eye-opening, and the relationship building was just phenomenal.
It was a very wonderful shared experience. We shared grief at walking this historical Greenwood district where so many hundreds of people lost their lives. We shared anger at the history of this not being told. But we shared hope also, because we saw a community that was striving to revitalize.
For background, for anyone who doesn't know what Black Wall Street was, it was an area within Tulsa called Greenwood. And it was the black area because Tulsa was segregated, right? So they had an area that they were allowed to live in. Well, they not only lived, they thrived. And these are people maybe a generation from slavery who formed this amazing area that had over 600 businesses.
Right.
It had 21 churches, 21 restaurants, 30 grocery stores, movie theaters. They had their own private airplanes. They had it all there, and it was a very wealthy area. And when this area was wiped out by this massacre that took place, the wealth that was lost was never regained.
And I kept inadvertently comparing it to the tragedy of 9/11, because in both instances, hundreds of lives, of innocent lives, were taken. But in one situation, it was others coming and doing this to Americans. At Black Wall Street, it was Americans doing it to Americans, and then the story was submerged.
When I walked in one way, but when I walked out,
was a different person.
I was a different person because of knowing the truth. And that's what we need to do, is just always look for the truth and be discerning.
Because the truth sets us free.
Yeah.
I love the name of the museum, Greenwood Rising. And it came from Maya Angelou's poem, Still I Rise. No matter what can come against us in life, with Jesus, we can rise. With Jesus, we have full redemption in whatever we're dealing with in our lives.
You know how unjust his trial and death and crucifixion were, the one who'd done nothing wrong. Frankly, in the same way that was true of this community. But after his death, his resurrection turned everything around and brought to others new life and reconciliation and hope. And we just saw such a beautiful metaphor for it there, and left with a determination too to want to take his hope and his resurrection, particularly in the whole area of racial healing.
As we have shared this, my hope is that those who are listening have sensed the impact this trip has made on each one of us, but in different ways. It's united us in a way that we did not expect, and we are now experiencing more of a oneness, which has been a true blessing for each one of us. Because of this, we would like to offer an invitation to you, Colonial and your friends, to experience the Greenwood Rising and Cultural Center Museum this spring. We are in the process of planning an overnight bus trip to Tulsa. We hope you will consider joining us. Look for more information to come.